Financial markets, cryptocurrency, gold and silver, world news.
Fair to say you simply flooded the system with money.
Yes, we did. That's another way to think about it. We did.
Where does it come from? Do you just print it?
We print it digitally, and we do that by buying treasury bills. That actually increases the money supply.
Financial Turmoil Explained.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show on this October 19th, 2022, a Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in. Glad to have you guys here. Now, here's the thing. The biggest danger out there for a shift disaster is not what you'd think. What's obvious right in front of your face, the war over there in Ukraine and everything, is probably not the biggest danger. This is the biggest danger we're facing. Is there's a squeeze going on. And as we read about what's happening in France here, you'll see what the squeeze is. The squeeze is they're coming at you from every different angles in society now, and they are squeezing you so that you cannot survive it. It's just getting worse and worse and worse as the central banks keep raising interest rates, as the central banks keep doing their quantitative tightening and everything else, as the economy slowly starts to slump and the wealth effect is gone, as jobs are lost within the system, more and more people are getting squeezed with higher prices coming at you from one side, higher taxes coming at you from another side, higher energy costs coming at you from another side, wages not increasing to keep up, and more of the population is getting squeezed tighter and tighter, and this is the first right here. It's starting in certain places. It's not real big yet, but it's starting. It says, why are workers striking and protesting across France? Thousands have taken to the streets across France as tensions rise between workers and the government. It says thousands of people have taken to the streets across France, and commuters face delays as unions stage nationwide strikes for higher salaries following weeks of walkouts that have hobbled oil refineries and sparked petrol shortages across the country. It's taken place in dozens of cities across France. Transportation workers, high school teachers, public hospital employees, they went on strike. Scuffles are breaking out. It says protesters are strikers are demanding pay raises that can keep up with the soaring cost of living as France experiences inflation of 6.2%, its highest rate in decades. So, this is only going to get a whole lot worse around the world in every different country, not just France. See, looking at this was small-sighted. You say, well, this is just a problem in France right now. But no, this is a symptom. It's kind of like if you come down with chicken pox and you get a pox on your arm. One pox, and you sitting there looking at it and saying, well, that's just one pox. That's no big deal. But it's a symptom of a more serious illness. Then 2 days later, you're completely covered with pox all over. Even got them on your eyeballs. And that's the way with this. This is the first pox, a sign of an underlying disease here that people aren't noticing that's causing these workers to protest across France. But this disease is worldwide. Everybody's going down together. We're all going down together. We're all being squeezed everywhere. And you can only squeeze humanity to the point where at a certain point they throw their hands up in the air and they say, well, this is no good anymore. It's not working for me. That's what the entirety of humanity will do in the end. They'll say, this is not working for me. And they'll throw their hands up in the air, and then it's over, guys. Because it's us that run us. yeah, we have these world leaders out there and everything, but they're not the ones who get up every morning and go out there and maybe walk the kids across the school bus, or get out there and drive the school bus to pick up the kids, or go out there and pump the gas, or go out there and all these manual things that need to be done to keep this system running. How do they continue to function when everybody throws their hands up in the air and says, well, we just can't take this anymore? And they look back at the government, and the government's like, what? And yeah, you caused this. Don't go what at me. You caused this, the government. They're the ones who are responsible for causing all this, because they made the decisions that led us here. They've taken us around the creek, around the backside of the barn, out all the way out down the pond, down to the cliff, and now they want to push us off the cliff. Say, what are you, nuts? To them. Yeah, maybe they are nuts. I just don't know. But the things that they're doing are absolutely insane. The direction that they're leading humanity into right now. Maybe they've lost their minds. I don't know. Anyway, got to get in there and look at the markets today. 1843 for silver. It's down 30 cents on the day so far. What's gold doing? Gold's at 16.34. It's down $18.10. I want to say something. Is don't take what I talked about lightly when they all throw their hands up in the air and they say, well, we just can't stand this anymore. And they all go into a riot everywhere. Because that will shut the system down. Nothing will function. The money is going to shut the system down too. I don't see any other way around it. We're just on a road now that's just going to get worse and worse and worse until the system shuts down. And nobody's going to pay any attention until the system shuts down. Then they're going to be like, what? When their cell phone turns off and the power turns off to their building or whatever, and we're in the middle of the winter time. And then everybody's going to wake up and say, what just happened? How come I can't operate my phone? How come the power's out to my house? When's it coming back on? And going to be all these questions people are going to have. People aren't going to know what's going on. They're not going to be able to figure it out because they can't get any news. They're going to be isolated. It's just going to happen all at once. And you're not going to know what caused it. It's going to be like, bink. It might happen while you're sleeping. You might go to bed one night, everything's fine. You wake up the next morning and everything seems fine. Nothing's going on. There's no ambulances or nothing. There's nothing. You just wake up and the power's out. What's going on with that? You walk around the house and turn on all the switches and no lights come on. And then you look at your phone and you say, battery at 30%, charge battery please. And you can't say, I can't because the power's out. So you go outside and your neighbor's out in his yard and he says, hey, the power's out. And you're like, yeah, the power's out? Oh. And so, I mean, you try to tune in on your FM radio to find it and all the stations are dead. Nobody's going to know what's happened. And it might stay like that for weeks. And everybody's waiting for the power to come back on. Waiting to get news. Anybody know what happened? What happened? Everybody's going to be like in the dark about what's happened. Nobody's going to have any news. Because it's just going to be one of those things where pop, it's gone. You know? I mean, are you ready for that? Not knowing what's happening, not being able to get any reliable news sources anywhere for anything because you can't go online because the internet's down. It ain't coming back. And the power's down. It ain't coming back. And you can't get information even on shortwave radio of anything. And everything's dead. So you have no channel of information of what just happened. And it stays like that. And then you got to live through that situation. Because for all those people out there who do things like law enforcement and everything else, they're going to be just as much in the dark as you. So what are they going to do? They're going to head home and take care of their families. Because we haven't done it actually, it's them. They have created a world for us that has got so much instability in it that it cannot possibly go anywhere except this. This is where it's going to go ultimately. Because there's so many things coming at us that we can't avoid. And heaven forbid, I mean, when the power goes out and stuff like that, that there's not bombs dropping at the same time. Let's hope. Are you prepared for that? I mean, if you got your, at least some bottled water and some food and stuff, because you're going to get hungry pretty quick when the power goes out. You're going to be like, what is there to drink here? Martha, Martha, you got anything to drink? I'm thirsty. I'm thirsty, Martha. You know? That's how it's going to be. And Martha's going to say, well, I forgot to go to the store this week. What do we got? We got those old bottles of tea that were given to us by so-and-so from last year. Are they still good, Martha? Because I'm thirsty. But you know how it is with caffeine with me. And she says, yeah, I know. But you'll have to drink some of that tea. And just stuff like that's going to go on. You know, I mean, but if you're ready, it's going to be so much softer landing for you than if you're thirsty and hungry and everything else and you got no place to go or nothing to do and no way to get around this whole thing. You think you're going to avoid it, somehow you're going to be okay and everybody else is going to suffer through this. No, we're all going to suffer through this. The power's going to be out for everybody. But you might be able to have a little bit cushier, like not as hard as some people are going to have it. The people that don't have any food and water, that's going to be tough. And if you think ahead, you might be a little bit better off that way. At least you got something to eat and something to drink. You know, so what are you going to do when you're sitting around there and the lights are all on and everything? You better get yourself a deck of playing cards. If there's several of yous, you know, say in your household or whatever, you know, get yourself something to do to idle your time. And in the old days, that's what they used to do. They used to sit around with candlelight, candle on the table, you know, and they'd have the deck of playing cards, and they would have a good game of cards until they got sleepy in the evening. So what are you going to do? Just sit there and look at your candle? You know, I mean, it's time to go out there maybe and get a deck of cards or get a Monopoly board. Because that's where we're heading. You ain't going to be able to go on your phone or go on the computer anymore or watch a movie. It takes too much electricity. If you start the generator up, then everybody's going to hear that for 5 miles. Say, he's got power. Let's go get his power. Let's go at least sit underneath his light, you know? I mean, it's just a crazy situation. Might as well prepare yourself in your mind because this is what they've made for us, the ones in charge. They've almost a certainty that we're heading towards some sort of a SHTF disaster. And that's because of mismanagement in the world, greed, corruption, and they are just, it's impossible. Anyway, I'm off on a tear. I got to get through these markets here. Let's take a look now at cryptocurrencies. 19,161 today for Bitcoin and 1297 for Ethereum. Now on the Dow Jones today, looks like we're even with the board. No, we're up just 2 ticks. We're up just 2 points, 30,525. So the market doesn't know which way to turn right now at this point. My thinking is going to turn down pretty soon and continue its downward slide because they're not stopping. They're raising rates higher and higher and higher. And how high can they go before the whole thing cracks? They're going to keep going until it cracks. So let's take a look at crude oil today, $83.70. It's up 88 cents. The MOVE index today is at 145.79, so it's come down just a little bit. Bonds and rates, now these are getting really high. Look at this 10-year at 4.1%. All these They keep raising that short end of the yield curve, the overnight rate. And I think they're gonna continue. This is the big disaster right here. Watch the bond market. You got to watch the bond market. This is the big disaster coming. It's going to lead all the other little disasters with it, behind it, trailing along with it. Anyway, guys, look at those. Look, it's up. It's 4.1%. It's up 10 basis points on the 10-year today. 4.1. Thank you guys for listening to my show. We got to do the dollar index, 112.77. Appreciate my audience out there. Appreciate you guys watching my show. Thank you very much. And you know what? Like I say, it's time to clean out a closet in your house and fill it with all the things you might think you might desire if you wake up some morning and the power's out and it's never coming back on for your area, at least for maybe 6 months or something. You know? What would you like to snack on? You know? What games might you like to play with your friends and neighbors when you're sitting in the dark? You know, stuff like that. Have a closet and it's got all that stuff, you know, in there. Little medical kit, food, water, everything. Maybe potato chips if you like those, or maybe a few candy bars. Because after all, if it's the end of the world, you know, and stuff, what's it harm to go off your diet just a little bit? I mean, come on. I mean, anyway, thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.